Hi again, I'm Stephen Wessner, CEO of Predictive ROI, and welcome back. And again, from the Walt Disney Suite at the Grand Floridian. I mentioned in our video last week about how I've had this really cool opportunity to record these videos from the Walt Disney Suite here at the Grand Floridian just outside of Magic Kingdom because of the workshops that I've been attending as well as teaching alongside Drew McClellan, CEO of Agency Management Institute. Really, really cool to be able to use this suite, and really cool gift from the Grand Floridian to Drew. So awesome. I mean, this suite is amazing. Not only is it, wonderful space and super private and all of that, which is fantastic, but throughout the suite, and I'm going to shoot some, I'll just kind of walk around and shoot a little bit of video here. What is really, really cool is the behind the scenes, the really kind of candid stuff of Walt. There's a photo right over here, just above, kind of the buffet table. You can't really see it yet. I'm going to shoot a video of it or shoot some clips here in just a second. But there's some really cool photos of like Walt sitting on top of his, trains that he had in his backyard, and just some really, really cool stuff. And these photos over here, same thing, like really kind of behind the scenes of Walt as a person is this great, icon, and not just business icon, but creativity and films and the parks and all of that. But just as a dad and a person who loved trains and just amazing, amazing stuff. So it's so cool, like stepping back in time, being in this suite. So, but there's also a business lesson to that. And one of the things that I'm going to ask Catherine on our team to edit into this as I'm sharing this with you is essentially the content strategy that Walt sketched out, when he was building the Disney company, the Walt Disney Company. And because it's amazing how what they have built, today, and now they're about ready to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, which started with the Magic Kingdom, of course, back in 1971. I think it was October 1971. And so all the parks are going through this major transformation to get ready for the 50th. But all of that started with Cornerstone Content. This entire company is based on content. It's a media company that's based on content. And so when you see this on screen, that in the center of that really impressive diagram that is hand sketched and all the dotted lines and the characters that are around it, at the center point are the films and this incredible storytelling that Walt and his fellow animators and the entire company were committed to telling. But it was about being helpful and entertaining to their audience. And it didn't matter if we're talking about Snow White or we're talking about Fantasia, whatever the films were. But they recognized from a business perspective of, if we can build an audience and we can be helpful to the audience by being entertaining to the audience, what are all of the additional things we can slice and dice off of those films? What are those things? Could they be theme parks? Could they be magazines? Could they be TV shows? Could they be a litany of other things? Now, am I saying that you should be the next, Walt Disney Company or the next Disney company and that you should be focusing on feature films? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we can all learn this lesson that the business, the vision starts with Cornerstone Content that is created on a consistent basis, that establishes your point of view with your audience, that is super, super helpful, that you can then slice and dice into a bunch of different things. And so I'm not suggesting that you get into the featured film business, but what I am suggesting is that you take a lesson right out of the blueprint that Walt gave to all of us and think about this amazing thing that he and his team and his family created, and how it all started, as he liked to say, that it all started with a mouse. I'll say that it all started with a piece of content that they built from and built from and built from, and then sliced and diced and built what we enjoy today. So in some small way, we can all take a lesson out of that and think strategically about our own business and how we can be helpful to our audiences on a weekly basis in sharing our expertise And through that process, that makes them better because you shared the best of what you had. You poured everything that you had into your audience. In return, you were rewarded by being able to have relationship and business relationship and friendship with your audience. Please don't take that for granted and think as you're working to double down in 2020, how you can be even more generous in sharing your expertise and sharing your insights and creativity, just like Walt Disney did. So if you haven't been to our resources library at predictiveroi.com, I would strongly encourage you to do so because we continue to add new resources to our library because, again, we're committed to doubling down in 2020 and we want to do everything we possibly can to be of service and of value to you, to help you do the same if that happens to be your goal. So go to predictiveroi.com/resources, download whatever you like, and we'll send it right to your inbox. I look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, double down and onward with gusto.